Everyone knew Duma as the girl who was always ready to say yes. Her beauty was unmatched, her laugh intoxicating, and her charm irresistible. Men came and went like passing winds, and Duma welcomed them all with open arms. But one day, something happened that changed everything. In the heart of Zamfara, life was simple, but the story about Duma were anything but. She was the daughter of a widow who sold palm wine in the village square. While her mother worked hard to provide for their family, Duma had no interest in modesty and tradition. From the age of 16, her beauty had captured the attention of every man in the village. Her skin was smooth as river stones. Her eyes sparkled like the stars, and her walk could turn heads from miles away. But it wasn't just her beauty that made her infamous. It was her reputation. Duma was known to entertain every man who approached her. Farmers, hunters, traders, and even visiting strangers found themselves drawn into her web. For a smile, she would accompany them to the stream. For a gift, she would hold their hands. For something more, she would give more. The village women disapproved, shaking their heads in judgment. The elders warned her mother, saying, "Control your daughter before shame befalls your household." But Duma paid no attention to the whispers. She lived her life as she pleased, believing her youth and beauty would always shield her from consequence. "I am young and free," she would say. "Why should I tie myself to one man when I can enjoy them all?" One day, a wealthy merchant named Uba visited Zamfara. He was older than Duma's usual admirers, but his confidence and deep voice caught her attention. Uba was different. He didn't chase Duma. Instead, he observed her, his gaze cool and calculating. Duma, intrigued by his aloofness, decided to charm him. She laughed at his jokes, complimented his expensive robes, and softly touched his arm. Eventually, Uba invited her to his camp outside the village. The next morning, Duma returned wearing a fine beaded necklace, a gift from Uba. She paraded it proudly, ignoring the murmurs of the villagers. But weeks later, strange rumors began to spread. Men who had been with Duma started falling ill. It began with Uba, who left Zamfara shortly after his encounter with Duma and never returned. Then it was Kofi the fisherman, who suddenly grew pale and weak. Soon after, Bako the hunter could no longer lift his bow. At first, no one connected the illness to Duma, but when 3 more men fell sick, the villagers began to whisper, "Duma is cursed." They said, "Her beauty hides a dark secret." Duma's carefree life began to crumble. The men who once flocked to her now avoided her like a plague. Gifts stopped coming, and her once vibrant social circle vanished. Even the women who had scorned her now looked at her with a mix of pity and fear. One evening, as Duma sat alone by the river, a strange old woman appeared. She was hunched over, with eyes as sharp as a hawk's. "You have danced with fire, child," the woman said, her voice heavy with warning. Duma, startled, looked up. "What do you mean?" The old woman leaned closer. "You have taken too much without giving anything in return. The spirits do not favor such a life. The illness that follows the men you've known is not mere coincidence. It is punishment." Duma's heart pounded. "Punishment? For what?" "For treating love like a game," the woman replied. "You have wounded hearts, broken trust, and taken what was not yours to keep. The spirits have sent you a warning. If you do not change your ways, your fate will be worse than theirs." Before Duma could respond, the woman disappeared into the shadows. Duma was terrified for the first time. She reflected on her life and the pain she may have caused. She thought of the men who had fallen ill, the broken promises she had made, and the shame she had brought to her family. Determined to make amends, Duma sought out the village elders. She confessed her actions and begged for their guidance. Though reluctant, the elders agreed to help her cleanse herself of the curse. They instructed her to fast for 7 days and visit the shrine at the edge of the forest to pray for forgiveness. Duma obeyed, spending those days in deep reflection. She vowed to leave her old ways behind and live a life of honesty and humility. When the 7 days were over, the elders performed a cleansing ritual. They proclaimed that the spirit had accepted her repentance, warned her that her future depended on her actions. Duma returned to the village a changed woman. She avoided the attention of men and focused on helping her mother with the palm wine business. Though some villagers still whispered about her past, many began to respect her transformation. Years later, Duma married a kind farmer named Ade, who saw beyond her past and loved her for who she had become. Together, they built a life of love and respect, proving to the villagers that redemption was possible. Moral lesson. The story of Duma teaches us that a life of recklessness and selfishness leads to pain and regrets. Happiness comes from respecting others, valuing oneself, and living with integrity. It reminds us that it's never too late to change and that redemption is always within reach for those who seek it with a sincere heart.
Thank you for watching, and if this is your first time of coming across us, please subscribe immediately and turn on the notification bell so that when I post a new video, you will be the first to watch. And if you're already an existing subscriber, hello, thanks for being here. Keep watching as I promise to always bring interesting stories that will keep you entertained and relaxed. Thank you and see you in the next one. Bye.